Howdy, folks. Woodrow Wallace from NeedCoffee.com here. Back for another Wayhomer review. And the way this works is I just got out of the cinema and I'm on my way home and I need to share my thoughts with somebody, and you drew the short straw. So we're here today to talk about Predators. So, Predators. Obviously going the Aliens route with lazy sequel titling. But Aliens rocked, so who cares? So synopsis. Here's what I can say about Predators. Predators is basically the same thing you know and love of nasty predator bastards hunting down humans for sport. But as you might expect, not only because they're trying to fix a franchise, or at least throw in another decent chapter in a wounded franchise, they're upping the ante by basically, okay, comic geeks, it's Secret Wars, except instead of the Beyonder, it's Predator. There you go. For the rest of you, basically they picked some of the baddest asses that they could from our planet and dumped them onto another planet and are going to hunt them. So you can see they've amped everything up just a bit, including the Predators. So yeah, there's your synopsis. Now here's the thing. First up, Predator. The problem with Predator is that it's, and approaching another Predator film, is that the first Predator is so very pure. It's so just very, it's the movie that I call upon when I say when you need to study how to introduce a bunch of characters and make you care about them and then start killing them off in interesting ways. Predator, really. Because if you think about it, you knew those guys for how long before the blood started flying, and yet they were fully realized, fully fleshed out characters, and that's what made the whole film worth it. If that film had just been Arnold Schwarzenegger, even though that was Schwarzenegger in his prime, it wouldn't have been as good. It would have just been a Schwarzenegger film, period, instead of just being a really good Schwarzenegger film because of its supporting cast and because of its writing. So you've got some big shoes to fill, not just because the Predators are usually played by large actors, but so you've got that problem, and that was kind of the problem with Predator 2, that was Danny Glover, right? I'm pretty sure it was. Anyway, because it's so, eminently forgettable that you forget it was happening, otherwise, much less who was in it. So yeah. That's the problem you're running into, is because you have such a great film that you're following. And while I try to wipe the slate clean of my expectations when I walk into a film, because I want to be fair to the film that I'm seeing. I don't want to come in with, I don't want my baggage to ruin the film experience. Sequels are an interesting animal, because you can't separate yourself completely from the expectations of the fact that it's part of a franchise. So it's a weird thing going on there. Now, all of that being said, let me get to the first question that's on everybody's mind, which is Adrian Brody? Question mark. Yeah, I mean, he was okay. Part of the problem is that he is Adrian Brody, aka the pianist, or however you want to pronounce it. And so, I really was trying not to let that cloud my, enjoyment of his work, because he's a very good actor. We discussed this on a recent podcast. He's a very good actor. But there was some of that in there, but I thought he did well. I thought, really, in the cast, the people that were really great were Danny Trejo, who, of course, by law, should be in every film ever made. You've got, I believe his name is Walton Goggins. He's one of those character actors that you go, oh, that guy. He's crazy and great. You've got Topher Grace is really good in this. And Lawrence Fishburne. Part of the problem for the film, for me, was Lawrence Fishburne. And I'll tell you why. Because, like I was going to say that and not tell you why, but I'll tell you why. Because when he showed up, he took the film to a new level just by his performance, which was fantastic, that it kind of made the rest of the film feel a little flat by comparison. And the other problem that you have with a film like this, and I think, is that all I have to say about the cast? I think so. The other problem that you have with a film like this is that, you know, it's the ultimate in, I believe, I never can keep the irony straight, which is maybe ironic, I don't know, but dramatic irony where we know more than the characters do. In the first film, we knew that something was hunting them, but we didn't know what, and so we were kind of discovering it along with the characters, if that makes sense. But in this film, we know going in, partly because of the trailer, partly because of the title, what they're up against. So the whole long, drawn-out pacing of getting to stuff blowing up and people fighting seems a little long. It's almost like, I mean, I appreciate that they're trying to do something and amp it up and reboot the franchise, sort of. It's not really a reboot, as you learn in the film. But they're treating it like it's the first film pacing-wise. And I felt like it could have moved a little faster and gotten to the point a little faster. And the point for all of us, let's face it, is guys with guns fighting giant, crazy-looking aliens, right? So I think that could have happened a little bit faster, and I think the pacing is what kind of drew me into finding, you know, it just drew me down. So, but by the time stuff was happening, I was like, oh, why wasn't this happening sooner? Or like with Lawrence Fishburne, why weren't you here sooner? And I almost wish that, because he's in the trailer, so I'm not giving anything away by saying Lawrence Fishburne is in the film. I just, I almost left. I wish they had not given away so much information in the trailer. Let's put it that way, because more surprises would have been nice, especially in a film where, like I said, we know the antagonist going into it. I think that would have been a little bit more solid. But I mean, in the end, it's a decent film. It's not bad. The obvious fear is that it's going to suck. It does not suck. It is decent. But I wish it had been great. You know what I mean? So I think, cup-wise, I think it squeaks into a 3 out of 5. Mostly because of the pacing issues. It just, and mostly because it didn't, I don't know, it didn't punch as much as perhaps it should have, or could have. But had some great new concepts in it, had some great new Predator stuff in it. So I think I'm comfortable giving it a 3 out of 5. Should you go see it? If you're a Predator freak, sure, catch it on a matinee. But, I mean, if you've got a decent system at home, I don't think you're going to be sad watching it on a big screen at home. It's got a different feel to it. I mean, we were in a cinema with, like, a decent crowd of people. It didn't have that feel to it that, like, watching one of the original Alien films or one of the original Predator films went, where you felt like you were in, I don't know, you had that group mentality of we're doing this together type of thing. The only time when that kind of came in was when Fishburne showed up, and everyone had this collective, ha-ha, Fishburne is here. But I think you'll be fine watching it at home if you have a decent system. If you got a 12-inch black and white screen, I wouldn't watch this on your laptop, okay? It's just not going to work that way. But matinee if you need to, and I think I'm comfortable with that. So, that's Predators. Yeah. So, there you have it. Another Wayhomer in the bag, and I'm almost home. Hi, train. So, I will simply say, if you enjoy these Wayhomers, and I appreciate all the folks that have been talking about them and linking up to them. Linking to them is very nice and very useful. We appreciate that. You can support us by going to needcoffee.com /membership, and that's how we pay for things like these tickets, for example. Otherwise, look for more mayhem at needcoffee.com, and we'll see you next time. Bye.